Hi, thank you for joining me on this rise. Victoria Shakoor here, founder of UMasteryLLC. I hope you and your family is doing well on this rise. So, how do you know that you are still in pain or have not healed, let's put it that way, or moved past from a painful trauma, a hurtful trauma? How you know this is that when you talk about it, it brings you to tears. You still have an emotional attachment to it. That's how you know. It brings you to tears, or it may anger you. You might get mad just thinking about it, Not mad, but angry thinking about it. You may feel fear when you think about the perpetrator of the trauma. If it was personal trauma and it was physical or verbal to you, and even though you're functioning in life, you're working your job, you're raising your children, whatever the case might be, you're functioning, right? Looking at you from the outside, no one would ever know. But when you get into a conversation or you see something related to that, you feel the emotional connection to it. And you're going to feel some of those emotions. Yeah. You may even feel jealousy because you were shamed. That's a form of trauma. You might have was shamed as a child, or maybe you were treated as an outsider or different or something like that in your childhood, and your best friend wasn't. They always, was treated well, and you noticed it, because children do notice these things, you guys. Yeah, children notice these things, and you know it. Some of you are relating to what I'm saying. And so certain things is triggering that pain. That's how that happens. It may be something somebody said. It may be an environment that you go around. Or it may be the actual perpetrators that you have to go around because they're family members. And so you have not healed from that because you haven't had a chance to really heal from it and overcome it. So those emotions come back and they continue to affect you, and they've been affecting your life this whole time. So to answer the question, how you know that you've moved past all of that, because it's not that you're gonna forget about it, because people say, oh, well, forgiveness is forgetting. No, it's not. No, it's not. Everything that you ever experienced, everything is coded in your DNA and also is in your subconscious memory. That's one of the functions of your subconscious, because its whole job is to protect the body. And as long as you survive that, it will continue to want to do that particular thing. When you really get this, you can see how it's playing out in your life, and then you can make different choices. You can make a different choice. Do something different, break the pattern, you see? But you first got to recognize the pattern. And then you recognize where that pattern came from, the origination of it. See? So when you know that these different scenarios and experiments have happened in your life, because they were experiments as well as experience. We came here in this physical form, and we borrowed these avatars to be in this physical construct, to be in here, so that we can experiment with what we already know as divine beings. And we want to experience it as well at the same time, simultaneously. That's why there's levels to everything. That's why there's degrees and variations to everything. Yeah. And so when you when you've moved past that experimentation and you've learned what you needed to learn from it, you no longer have an emotional attachment to it. You know, you'll be able to talk about it, or you might see things that normally would have triggered it. It's no longer triggering you. That's how you know, okay, all right. And you've leveled up spiritually. Yeah, you've leveled up spiritually. Whether you knew it or not, that's what's occurring. And then you going on to your next experimentation. As we are able to experiment with these things and go through the experience of it, whether it's painful, whether it's happiness, whatever emotion it is and thought pattern that occurs with it, we level up spiritually, and we also do not carry that down, that code to the next generation, for those of us who have children or want to have children. And we usually have them in our young age, so a lot of things get passed down, and a lot of things don't, because if you have your child in your early teens, you have not experienced enough in life to really, you're usually passing down some things that was passed down to you already, because you really haven't experienced enough in life to be passing down anything yet. Yeah. So that's how you know. And you can just, you know, you'll be discovering other things, especially for those of you that is doing the work on yourself. You know, you're doing that shadow work. You have a guide or a coach, or I like to say guide, that is helping you work through some of these things that are engraved deeply in your subconscious. And you're noticing and you're having results. And I applaud you for that, because you're getting results. You're light. People are looking at you. People are falling out of your life, you know, because that's going to happen. Because when you're leveling up spiritually, your inner love light is what I want to say is vibrating more and more. It's expanding. That's what I want to say. Your inner essence light of who you are is expanding. And the reason that happened is because we came here to experiment with what we already know. In our essence, we know all these things, but we want to experience it. We want to experiment with it, and at the same time experience it. And all that data goes back to source. And then source takes that data, and I'm thinking, this is just my theory, continues to create other simulations for us to go and experiment things. And so the modus operandi for us being in the physical is to experiment with these things in the physical, however, at the same time, achieving being who we are in our essence in the physical. And therein lies the challenge. And as we gain data, and as we gain the data or the data, some people say the data, with all these different experimentations and experiencing these things, that data goes into our memory banks. It gets coded up in our codes, our DNA code, in our subconscious, which is it's not in your brain. Your brain is a receiver and a transmitter, among other things too. But your trinity of your mind is not really in your brain, but the brain is the facilitator, the middleman, so to speak. And so this is why when we survive certain traumas, or when we code up certain things to make sense to us. It doesn't always have to be trauma. It's just that we coded up some things to make sense to us, usually in our childhood, but we also do it again in our young adulthood too, because we are natural creators, because we're part of the creator, right? We're part of the supreme divine creators, mother and father, right? And so we're naturally creators. That's why we create things. And you're at your happiest when you're creating, or when we're helping a creator too. You know, everybody didn't come here to create. Some of us came here to be a helper to the creators, you know. And if it's done right, they're not slaves. They're very handsomely compensated for their help. But that's what it is. That's, being an employee is a help. So I'm digressing. That'd be another conversation. But so this is how you know that you are leveling up spiritually, and you have, we'll say, healed from some past traumas, or you no longer need the sabotaging identity that you created. You no longer need that identity because you have no more emotional attachment to it. That's how you know. There's no more, you know it mentally now, but it's no longer affecting you. And that's how you know. So I just wanted to come on here and answer that question more thoroughly. And yeah, and you'll see some changes in your life as well. You know, say for instance that you keep attracting a certain type of mate in your life. Once you realize the origination of why you're attracting that type of mate, you'll notice that you no longer attract that type of person in your life. So it's about being aware of who you are and being aware of yourself. And you don't have to I got to be aware of myself. No, it's just live your life, be natural, be authentic. And being authentic is the key to becoming aware of your life and who you are. Being authentically yourself will automatically it'll just automatically happen. You're just going to become aware of yourself, aware of how you're looking at things, aware of how you're thinking about things, having discernment with people. Only if you're living authentically. If you're lying to yourself, you're not being who you really are. You wear a mask when you go out, and you're not being authentically who you are. And you're not going to be aware of a lot of things. You're going to be aware how you're lying. You might be like, dang, I don't know why I think I have to be like that when I'm going around them. And that's not saying that when you are around, certain people, you're going to be a certain way, because we all have those different faces that we wear, right? I'm not saying that. Because you do know you're not two-faced, you're like 5 and 6-faced. You are. That's another subject too. But yeah, that's how you know. So I just wanted to come on here and answer that question. Before you leave your comments, I appreciate when you do that, as long as it's respectful and sincere. I appreciate all the comments, and thank you. Those of you who subscribe to my brand new YouTube channel, I really appreciate y'all for that. I really do. I am so jacked for my subscribers. Hey, listen, I celebrate all accomplishments, small, tiny, micro, medium, large, extra large, huge, and all in between all those things. And you should too. All right, I love you because I'm overflowing with love for myself, and it can only flow over into you. And I'll see you on the next video.